Before we start, I'd want you to know that I have a Discord server. Any one of you can join to stay connected with the community, speak with me, share your theories and recommend video ideas. I'd also want to send a big thanks to Mr. Headshot for making this possible. We all know that Kion is Simba's son. He was not present during the Lion King 2 timeline because he was searching for a cure for the venom at the Tree of Life. But what if Kopa and Kion met during that time? First of all, who is Kopa? According to the books of the Lion King 6 New Adventures, Kopa is Simba's firstborn, the one that you see at the ending of the first movie, theoretically. Kopa is not a canon character, but there are lots of theories around him. The two most important are: number 1, he dies by the hands of Zira, and number 2, he survives and escapes from the Pride Lands. To make possible an encounter between Kion and Kopa, we have to use the second theory, the one where he survives. Now we have to do a quick timeline analysis so we can know in which part of the story we can place Kion and Kopa. The Lion Guard takes place after Kiara meets Kovu, but before her first hunt. At the beginning of The Lion King 2, we see the presentation of Simba and Nala's daughter, Kiara. A few months later she meets Kovu, the son of Zira, and after some time, Kion, the son of Simba and Nala, is born. He becomes the leader of the Lion Guard, tasked with protecting the Pride Lands and defending the Circle of Life. 3 years later, Kion gets injured by a snake in the process of defeating his uncle Scar once and for all. Kion and the guard set off to go to the Tree of Life in order to find a cure. This is also the reason why we don't see him in the movie. The story and life of Kopa takes place right after the end of the first movie. He should be the first cub of Simba and Nala and is born about 1 year before Kiara's birth. Due to Kopa's attempted murder from Zira, he escapes from the Pride Lands some months before Kovu's birth and before Kiara was conceived. At this point, Kopa is now an adult lion. Now that we clarified their position in the timeline, we now have to find a common spot on the future to make possible their encounter. We know that the Lion King timeline stops at the time that Kion decides to leave the Pride Lands to find a cure for the venom. This is why we now have to create the future timeline and come up with our own theories. I made a few and they are based on my own opinion. I'll show you the ones that I found the most interesting. Months have passed and Kion, in the way to find a cure, meets Kopa, who was living in his own pride. Kopa recognizes the sign of the guard that Kion has on the arm. So, knowing that he comes from the Pride Lands, he helps him find the cure he was searching. Kion then asks him if he can come back to the Pride Lands with him, but Kopa denies, explaining that he now has a family and a pride and he doesn't want to make his own parents' mistake, leave their son alone. Kion comes back to the Pride Lands and tells his father Simba that Kopa is still alive. Kion, after months of searching for the cure, he finally finds it, and in the way back to the Pride he meets Kopa. He was alone, skinny, searching for food and with a wild appearance. He asks help to Kion, and as in the first theory, after noticing the mark of the guard on his arm, Kopa explains him his story, and Kion understands that he is his lost brother, that everyone thought was dead. After several weeks, they come back to the Pride Lands and Kopa finally meets his family after a long time. Kion found the cure and it worked. It was now time for him to come back to the Pride Lands, but not remembering where the right direction was, he chose the wrong way. Accidentally, instead of returning directly to the Pride, he was heading to the Outlands. It was too late before he noticed he was already beyond midway to destination. Suddenly, the hyenas appeared. It was in that moment that he realized he was in someone else's territory. Someone from behind appeared. He was Kopa. He told the hyenas not to attack because he recognized the mark of the guard, but surprisingly, instead, he wanted to fight Kion, to kill him. Kopa was full of hate, convinced that nobody in the Pride Lands cared about him. Explanations were useless, and the battle began. But Kopa little knew what he was going to meet. Kion, forced by the situation, used the roar against Kopa and unavoidably killed him. What is your opinion? The theory number 1 explains that Kopa has a partner, cubs, and lives in his own pride, but he will never come back to the Pride Lands. The second theory instead explains that Kopa has always been suffering scarcity of food and has been living as a nomad, but after several years he will finally return to the Pride Lands. And the third theory says that Kopa, not having a home nor a pride where to live, he allied with hyenas and was later killed by Kion. Which one do you prefer? And if you have your own theory, tell us in the comment or in our Discord server. You could appear in the next video regarding this topic. If you want more videos like this, please let me know by leaving a like. I always appreciate it. I'm Ascari and I wish you a good night.